The Catholic Church has not stood still in the 36 years since Howard Hubbard was ordained the 9th Bishop of Albany. It's weathered everything from a clergy sex abuse scandal to declining attendance and fewer priests. Hubbard once was the youngest bishop in the entire country. On October 31st of this year, he turned 75 and will have to submit his resignation to the Vatican. Tonight, in part 2 of her series, The Man and His Ministry, Liz Bishop asks Bishop Hubbard to look back at the choices that he's made.
When Howard Hubbard was a young priest, he learned a hard lesson about choices from his mother. He was at her side on Christmas Eve as she lay dying when he got a call that a young inmate wanted to see him immediately.
I was hesitant to go because I knew this would be the last Christmas with my mother. She said, "There's someone that needs you. That's where you belong, and that's what I want you to do."
That selfless act taught him all he needed to know about being a priest.
To be available for whoever needs you, whenever they need you.
Over the next 40 years, his church would need him often as he confronted serious challenges. In 2002, at the height of the clergy sex abuse scandal, Hubbard would remove 6 priests from ministry. His critics said he had turned a blind eye to the actions of pedophile priests.
I never ignored it, and I always tried to address it constructively and aggressively.
He told me his regret was not initially understanding the level of pain of the victims.
That was a learning experience for me.
Hubbard faced accusations of sexual misconduct himself in 2004, which he denied. The diocese hired a high-powered federal prosecutor whose investigation exonerated him. The bishop says today there's a zero-tolerance policy in place that would prevent sexual abuse from happening in the church.
If there is a credible allegation of even one incident of clergy sexual misconduct, then that person is automatically removed from ministry permanently.
The wrecking ball at St. Patrick's Church in Watervliet came to symbolize another bitter judgment call as old-school Catholics lamented the collapse of their cherished traditions. In 1977, when he became bishop, there were 205 parishes in the Albany diocese. Today, there are 127. 73 Catholic schools have been whittled down to 27. The bishop says he agonized over each and every one.
And what we've had to do is right-size the diocese to put our priests and our religious where our people are presently living. I know, however, that for some people, they're heartbroken, and some say, I won't go to church anymore, and that breaks my heart.
He's seen the empty pews at Mass and the dwindling candidates for priests and blames it on a growing secularization.
The religious component of their life does not seem to be as important as it once was.
But the new Pope Francis, whom he greatly admires, may be changing that by example.
Frequently, people come up at the end of Mass and said, I'm back, I've been away for 5 years or 10 years, but I'm really impressed with our new Pope, and I'm here to stay.
Hubbard has no choice in tendering his resignation on his 75th birthday. It's church law. But he's hopeful the choices he has made will leave his flock remembering him as someone who
really cared for the community and did his best to serve the community.
Liz Bishop, CBS 6 News, Albany.